There is a profound mystery hidden in the folds of our brains, a mystery that could forever change the way we perceive ourselves, our choices, and our connection to the divine. Imagine for a moment that within the very structures of our brain lies the key to a direct line of communication with God. It may sound like a bold or even mystical claim, but recent breakthroughs in neuroscience suggest that our brain is far more malleable than we ever thought, and that it plays a crucial role in bridging the spiritual and the rational worlds. The implications are staggering. Not only can we reshape our thoughts and behaviors, but we might also be able to deepen our connection to the Creator, reshaping our destiny in the process. Neuroscience has long known that the brain is not a static organ. It can change, adapt, and even reorganize its own structures, a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Brain plasticity is the foundation of our ability to learn, grow, and evolve throughout life. It means that every experience, every thought, and every action has the potential to physically alter the way our brain functions. What if, instead of merely shaping our cognitive abilities, neuroplasticity also has the power to shape our spiritual lives? Modern studies in neuroplasticity offer more than just scientific insight. They suggest that our brains hold the potential for profound spiritual transformation. According to some experts, there is a specific part of the brain where this divine communication takes place. This discovery opens the door to a groundbreaking question. Could our thoughts and spiritual practices be rewiring our brain, facilitating a deeper connection with God? At the heart of this divine connection lies a region of the brain known as the limbic system. Often referred to as the emotional brain, the limbic system is responsible for controlling our emotions, impulses, and even many of our decisions. This part of the brain has the power to evoke intense feelings of joy, love, or gratitude, but it also governs more primitive emotions like anger, fear, and aggression. It's here, in this swirling vortex of emotion, that we often find ourselves at odds, torn between our higher values and our base desires. We've all been there, facing a tough decision where our heart says one thing, but our mind says another. This inner conflict is the hallmark of the limbic system at work, bombarding us with signals that often lead to impulsive decisions, unwise actions, or even regrets. But the truly fascinating insight here is that we are not at the mercy of our emotions. There is a higher order in the brain capable of reining in these impulses, guiding us toward more balanced, thoughtful decisions. Many believe that this is precisely where God intervenes, helping us navigate the emotional storm and make choices aligned with our true purpose. While the limbic system may stir our emotions, it is the prefrontal cortex, often called the seat of reason and judgment, that offers us the power to act with intention. This region of the brain is the epicenter of our willpower, intellect, and decision-making capabilities. It's where we reason, where we make moral judgments, and where we reflect on the consequences of our actions. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Many scholars believe that this is the very region through which God communicates with us. It's as if the prefrontal cortex is a sacred gateway through which divine wisdom flows, offering us the clarity to make decisions that align with our deepest values and highest purpose. This suggests that when we pray, meditate, or simply seek divine guidance, we are not merely engaging in an abstract spiritual practice. We are, quite literally, training our brains to be more receptive to divine influence, forming new neural pathways that allow us to act with greater wisdom, compassion, and insight. If we accept that the brain is a dynamic organ, capable of being reshaped, then it follows that our mental and spiritual well-being is something we can actively cultivate. Australian naturopath and speaker Barbara O'Neill has developed a framework known as the 7 Laws of Mental Health, each of which illustrates how we can restructure brain function to enhance not only our cognitive abilities, but our spiritual life as well. The first of these laws is the law of cause and effect, the recognition that every action has a consequence. This principle applies to everything we do, whether it's a thought, a word, or an action. Our choices don't just influence our outer circumstances, they have a profound impact on our inner world, shaping our emotional and psychological state. The law of choice underscores the autonomy we have in making decisions. This law reminds us that our ability to choose is central to mental and spiritual health. Every decision, no matter how small, is a chance to steer our lives in a direction that brings us closer to inner peace or further from it. The law of words touches on the immense power that language has on our minds and souls. The words we speak, whether positive or negative, have the potential to shape not only how we feel, but how we interact with the world. Kind words can nurture a sense of calm and compassion, while harsh words can reinforce anger, fear, or sadness. Another key principle is the law of adaptation, which highlights the brain's incredible capacity for change. Neuroplasticity allows us to reshape our mental and emotional patterns, making it possible to let go of limiting beliefs, negative emotions, and destructive behaviors. This law has been echoed in biblical proverbs for centuries, long before science ever validated it. The law of the mind delves into how our thoughts shape our reality. Whatever we focus our minds on tends to grow, reinforcing the importance of directing our thoughts toward constructive and spiritually aligned ideas. By training our minds to dwell on positive and enriching thoughts, we create a mental environment conducive to peace and growth. The law of rest stresses the importance of mental downtime for cognitive and emotional health. Just as the body requires sleep to rejuvenate, the brain needs periods of rest, stillness, and reflection to process information and recharge. This law encourages us to prioritize meditation, relaxation, and restorative practices to maintain mental and spiritual balance. The final law, the law of diversion, offers perhaps the most practical insight. When life closes a door, the brain can divert itself toward new opportunities and paths. Resilience, then, becomes more than just an attitude. It is a biological process, allowing us to recover from setbacks and find new meaning in the challenges we face. If the brain is a tool through which God communicates, then it follows that the more we train it, the more attuned we become to the divine. Spiritual practices like prayer, meditation, and reading sacred texts are not just ways to calm the mind. They are powerful exercises for reshaping the brain. By engaging in these activities, we strengthen the neural pathways associated with peace, gratitude, and love. Imagine the brain as a series of pathways. Each time we engage in spiritual practice, we are essentially walking those paths, making them stronger and easier to access. Over time, these pathways become the default routes for our thoughts, leading us to experience more frequent moments of inner peace, joy, and connection to the divine. But the opposite is also true. If we spend our time ruminating on negative thoughts, engaging in destructive behaviors, or allowing fear and anger to dominate our emotions, we strengthen those pathways instead. This is why it's so crucial to pay attention to the decisions we make every day. Each choice is an opportunity to train the brain toward positivity or negativity. One of the most liberating actions we can take is to forgive. Forgiveness, while often seen as a moral or spiritual act, also has a profound impact on brain health. Studies show that when we forgive, we actually help restore our brain's physiological balance, releasing the emotional burdens that weigh us down. Forgiveness, in this sense, is not just an act of kindness toward others. It is a gift to ourselves. The brain thrives on repetition and habit. Research suggests that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. This means that by choosing to forgive, whether or not we feel ready to, we can begin to create new neural pathways that promote healing and well-being. Over time, these pathways become stronger, making forgiveness and compassion our default response, rather than anger or resentment. As much as the brain holds the key to divine communication, it is also shaped by the choices we make. According to Christian theology, God doesn't force His presence upon us. Instead, He invites us to open the door of our minds and hearts, allowing Him to guide us through the challenges of life. This theme of free will is echoed in Revelation 3:20, where God is described as knocking at the door, waiting for us to let Him in. The choice, then, is ours. Every thought we entertain, every habit we form, and every spiritual practice we engage in has the power to either strengthen our connection to God or weaken it. In the quiet moments of reflection, prayer, or meditation, we have the opportunity to open that door, allowing divine wisdom to shape our thoughts, actions, and ultimately, our destiny. Our brains are not mere biological organs. They are dynamic, ever-changing gateways through which we can connect with the divine. Through neuroplasticity, we have the power to reshape not only our thoughts and behaviors, but our entire spiritual experience. By cultivating habits that align with our deepest values, through prayer, meditation, forgiveness, and intentional living, we strengthen our brain's capacity to make wise, compassionate choices. In this process, we are not just reshaping our brains, we are forging a deeper connection with God, unlocking a divine potential that can transform our lives from the inside out.